Hello YouTube. This is Bela Mage again, and it's been a little while since we did a video. What happened is we kind of ran out of stuff to do in trade. Everything is so cheap and I made too much money. So we restarted in a very, very small private league. Almost solo self-found. Basically solo self-found plus, as in I was able to grab a few extra corpses from some people, and that was about it. This is all almost exclusively solo self-found. So I decided to do a run, and in that run I decided I wanted to try out Garatha's Frostbolt Ice Nova Archmage Hierophant, which I'm playing in the background here. And I have to say, as a solo self-found or fresh start or fresh league of any kind, this might be one of the strongest and easiest to play builds I have ever done in my entire life. It was so smooth. It wasn't Deadeye clear speed, but it was still pretty damn good clear speed. It was able to kill every boss with ease. Quite tanky on absolutely no gear. Huge AoE coverage and just covering everything all the time. So much so that with the MTX on, you literally can't see the screen anywhere. And as we all know, the less of the floor you can see, the better your build is, right? Right? Anyway, so there's a few things I want to go over about this. Number one, if you haven't tried any of these Archmage builds, I'm going to heavily suggest you try any of them. I also messed around with Palsteron's All Lightning one, which is how I started leveling, because it requires no alt quality gems at all, and it worked off the bat. And I used that setup until I got a Katava Thirst helmet so that I could shoot the frost bolts automatically, so that I could change to Ice Nova and have it remain a one-button playstyle. That is the way I would go with it. I will have a path of building for where I'm at, but this is not a build guide. I'm just going to link to Garatha's Frostbolt build, because that's the one I was copying. I was just straight up doing my very best to copy that with limited supply. So the first thing we want to go over is just how absolutely amazing it was at absolutely everything, and how you should definitely play it. It also doesn't have a budget. This was all like from solo self-found, slightly more than, because I got like a few corpses from some other people, but that was about it. And all self-crafted everything's, self-found on the floor everything's. It did every piece of content you wanted. It was doing Legion, it was doing Essences. If I wanted to go heist, it would have done that fine too. It moves quite quick. Everything about it was great. But the second thing, and perhaps the more important thing, is I don't know how everyone feels about this, but I do know how my chat feels about this. My chat has been talking about being really interested in PoE still and not really wanting to quit, but also feeling like they'd run out of things to do. And they were just like, I don't know what to do now. And this might be the first time where I'm suggesting solo self-found to people. I have been anti-solo self-found for a pretty long time, because it just felt too limiting in what I could do. But during this trade league, I also didn't really interact with corpse crafting at all. It was, if anything, annoying. I would collect corpses in my maps. They would sit in quad tabs for days, just making multiple quad tabs full of corpses, and then eventually get around to selling them and buying what I want. And I found the league to be just like a little I did really love All Flames, but I just wasn't really engaging with it. But the game was still fun, so I was still enjoying myself. Re-rolling in solo self-found changed all of that. I've been actively using the corpses, not making perfect, absolutely every corpse is involved, but rather trying to craft the best thing I could with the corpses I had access to. And that has been way more fun and way more rewarding. This is the first league where I feel like solo self-found is the way to go. This league actually feels way better in solo self-found, and I cannot suggest enough that if you're still interested in PoE at this stage, but you feel like bored or burnt out of and like not knowing what to do, that you do a solo self-found restart, because it has reinvigorated my will to play. I will quickly go over my path of building and where this character ended. I spent about a week on it in solo self-found. Well, solo self-found plus, but that's fine. And after this, we're actually restarting again to do a new, fresh solo self-found run with Ventura's Cock DD build, because I want to compare them. I want to compare them in like fresh league start environments. So this is the one I've done. I'll be doing Cock DD next. I'm probably going to do another restart or two in solo self-found with different league starts. So if you have any league starts you want to see me run, let me know in the comments what builds you want to see a fresh restart happen on, because I'm down for it. So we'll jump in and have a quick look at my path of building, which will be linked. This is how the character finished, but again, link to the guides. That's where the real information is. These are not fleshed out or fully set up for anything. This is just to show you what I got in a week. So this here is my path of building. I'm not entirely sure. I've seen other path of buildings set up with this count at 8, and I'm not sure if that's where it's supposed to be or not. It does say I have just shy of 11 mil DPS, which is not quite true. I'm pretty sure I've got closer to 14 or 15. I'm not entirely sure how to set this up. I do know that this jewel isn't working, so I think I would have to manually add that if I wanted it to work, so that probably adds a bit of damage. But let's look at the things I managed to get. First of all, I made 2 quite good weapons for solo self-found. Both of these have only 1 dead stat, which is the gain mana per enemy killed. Other than that, huge mana, huge cast speed, huge mana regen, and spell damage. Fantastic. Same thing over here, as well as a bunch of flat. The flat is a lot less good. This one's better, but that's fine. We got so many Katava Thirsts drop on the floor that we started mass varling them. I think I might have varled 20 or 25 Katava Thirsts, and eventually I got the lightning damage leeched as life, which is huge, because lightning damage leeched as life is the main reason that we had illuminated devotion to begin with. So as soon as I got leeched as life, I didn't need that anymore, and that gave me endurance charges and power charges, although I only needed the endurance because I never went to crit. As you can see though, our max hit taken is quite tanky for solo self-found. I have no suppress. I have like pretty average gear by trade standards, and I'm quite tanky, so that's been great. I farmed my own glorious vanity, which did not take long at all. It does 5 ways quite well to give me my corrupted soul, and I just happened to get a pretty good node here. This probably isn't the one I would have picked in trade. I probably could have got life leech here and then used that instead of having to keep corrupting helmets. But honestly, 32% lightning damage and 2 pen, great, fantastic node. It's the only node that got anything good. I'm not using really any of the others, so it's a single node thing for corrupted blood. That's fine. Corrupted blood, corrupted soul, that was fine. We made ourselves in the garden a pretty good chest. Again, no suppress, didn't get to the suppression stage. Honestly, didn't really need it. Our max hit taken is pretty damn high, so that was fine. Little bit of recoup on our implicit, that was actually quite useful. We did get exposure and unnerve on an average-ish pair of gloves. Rolled them ourselves. Garden crafted this, doesn't even have a life roll on it. Absolutely could have a better pair. We garden crafted this, barely has anything on it. There's not even resists on this thing. It's also not at Zuby's foible, which would be way better, but we farmed for that for a while. Turns out it's rare, by the way. That thing, that's rare. So there's that. We got 2 rings that are also pretty average. A lot of this gear, not that fantastic. We got a belt that's just life regen mana and some energy shield recharge, because that seemed pretty useful. The other thing I got useful was I got a Taste of Hate and divined it to 15% taken as, just for a better fizz hit taken. You can see it brings me from like 19 to 22, so that's quite nice. I got a Watcher's Eye, but it isn't a good one. It's just 12% chance to recover 10% of mana when you use a skill. I'm honestly not even sure that I need that. In fact, it barely makes a difference at all whether I use it or not. The only thing really here is that it's for increased energy shield, life, and mana, and on Solo Self-Found, that's just a good jewel. Energy shield, life, and mana, great jewel. So realistically, it's barely even a Watcher's Eye. And we got the one Ferandus pack. That's it. Our gear overall, really not great. This got us everything. This cleared us tier 17 maps. This did all of the bosses. I did not do Uber bosses, but it got everything else in the entire game done. The only aura I was running was Purity of Elements, which I had planned to change to something else when I got ailment immunity, and I just never got ailment immunity, so I just kept it. And I didn't need anything. It was that and clarity, and that was it. So yeah, amazing build. Amazing fun doing solo self-foundry runs. I'm going to be restarting again, trying to make a Cock DD next. So yeah, please do give solo self-found a go. If you've never given it a go before, now's the time. That is all, and I will see everybody next time. Goodbye.